Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm Paul, and today we are going to talk about something that almost every English learner wants to know: how to learn English very fast.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lena. Yes, Paul, this is one of the most common questions beginners ask. Many people want quick results, but they don't know the right way to achieve them.
That's true. Some learners try many methods but still feel stuck.
Exactly. That's because they don't follow a clear plan. Learning fast is possible, but it requires the right strategy and consistency.
So in this video, we are going to share simple and practical ways to learn English faster.
Yes, and everything will be beginner-friendly so anyone can follow easily.
Great, let's get started. Lena, let's talk about the first and most important step. When someone wants to learn English very fast, they often feel confused about where to start. What should beginners focus on first?
That's a very important question, Paul. If someone wants to learn English quickly, they should start with high-frequency vocabulary, which means the words that are used most often in daily life.
So instead of learning difficult or uncommon words, they should focus on simple and useful words.
Exactly. Many beginners make the mistake of learning complicated words that they rarely use. But if you learn common everyday words, you can start understanding and speaking much faster.
That sounds like a smart strategy.
Yes, because language is about communication. If you know the words that people use every day, you can join conversations more easily.
Can you give some examples of these common words?
Of course, words like go, come, eat, drink, want, need, happy, good, bad. These are simple, but they are used in almost every conversation.
That makes learning practical.
Yes, and beginners should learn small sets of words daily, like 10-15 words. This keeps learning easy and manageable.
So they should not try to learn too many words at once.
Exactly. Learning too many words can be confusing and hard to remember. It's better to learn a few words and revise them regularly.
Revision is very important, right?
Yes, without revision, you will forget quickly. Repeating words again and again helps your brain remember them for a long time.
What is the best way to remember new words?
The best way is to use them in sentences. For example, I want water. I am happy. I need help. Using words in sentences makes learning more natural.
That also helps in speaking.
Exactly. Another useful tip is to write the words in a notebook and review them daily.
So learning, writing, and using words together is the best method.
Yes, and if learners follow this simple process every day, their vocabulary will grow quickly and they will see fast improvement.
Lena, many learners think they should first learn grammar and vocabulary completely before they start speaking. Is that the right approach?
No, Paul. That is one of the biggest mistakes beginners make. If you want to learn English fast, you should start speaking from day one.
Even if they know only a few words?
Yes, even if they know very little. Speaking is a skill, and like any skill, it improves only with practice. Waiting too long only slows down progress.
That's very true.
Beginners can start with very simple sentences. For example, I am learning English. I am tired. I like this. I am going outside. These are easy to say and help build confidence.
So speaking doesn't need to be perfect.
Exactly. The goal is not perfection, but communication. Even simple sentences are enough to start.
Many people feel shy or afraid of making mistakes.
Yes, that's very common. But learners should understand that making mistakes is part of learning. Every mistake helps you improve.
So they should not be afraid.
Absolutely. Instead of thinking, what if I make a mistake? They should think, I am learning and improving.
That's a positive mindset.
Yes, and there are many ways to practice speaking alone. For example, talk to yourself. Describe your daily routine. Speak in front of a mirror.
That's very helpful for beginners.
Yes, and another powerful method is to repeat sentences from videos or audio. This improves pronunciation and confidence.
So they should practice actively.
Exactly. Speaking every day, even for 10-15 minutes, can bring fast improvement.
So consistency is more important than long practice.
Yes, small daily practice is the key. When learners speak regularly, they become more comfortable and confident.
That's very motivating.
Yes, and once speaking becomes a habit, learning English becomes much faster and easier.
Lena, we have talked about vocabulary and speaking. Now let's discuss listening. Many beginners say they can read a little, but they cannot understand spoken English. Why does this happen?
That's a very common problem, Paul. It happens because learners are not used to the sound, speed, and rhythm of English. When people speak naturally, it can feel very fast and confusing.
So it's not just about knowing words.
Exactly. You may know many words, but if you don't practice listening, it becomes difficult to recognize those words in real conversations.
So listening is very important for fast learning.
Yes, listening is one of the most powerful ways to learn English quickly. It helps improve pronunciation, understanding, and even speaking skills at the same time.
How should beginners start listening practice?
They should start with simple and slow English content. For example, beginner-friendly videos, slow conversations, basic English audio lessons.
Why should they avoid difficult content?
Because difficult content can confuse and demotivate them. When learners understand what they hear, they feel more confident and motivated.
That makes sense.
Another very effective method is listen and repeat. Learners should listen to a sentence, pause the audio, and repeat it.
That helps in pronunciation too.
Yes, exactly. This method trains your ears and your speaking at the same time.
So they should not just listen passively.
Absolutely. They should practice active listening, which means focusing on the words, understanding them, and repeating them.
How much time should they spend daily?
Even 15-20 minutes daily is enough. The key is consistency.
So regular listening leads to improvement.
Yes, with daily listening, learners start understanding English naturally without translating in their mind.
Lena, let's talk about reading now. Some beginners feel that reading is not very important. What do you think?
Reading is actually very important, especially for beginners who want to learn English fast. It helps learners understand how sentences are formed and how words are used together.
So reading improves grammar naturally.
Exactly. Instead of memorizing grammar rules, learners can understand grammar by seeing real sentences in reading.
That sounds like an easy way to learn.
Yes. And beginners should always start with simple reading material. They don't need to read difficult books in the beginning.
What kind of content is best?
They can read short stories, simple English books, easy articles. Even small paragraphs are enough to start.
Why is simple content important?
Because when learners understand what they read, they feel confident. Difficult content can make them feel frustrated.
That's true.
While reading, learners should pay attention to sentence patterns. For example, I am learning English. She is going to school. These patterns help them form their own sentences.
So they learn structure naturally.
Yes, and another important tip is to read aloud. This improves pronunciation and speaking confidence.
So reading also helps speaking.
Exactly. Also, when learners find new words, they should note them down and try to use them later.
That improves vocabulary too.
Yes, reading, vocabulary, and speaking are all connected.
How much should beginners read daily?
Even 10-15 minutes daily is enough. Regular reading brings steady improvement.
So consistency is the key again.
Absolutely. With daily reading, learners start understanding English faster and more naturally.
Lena, many learners believe that if they study English for many hours every day, they will learn faster. Is studying for long hours the best way?
Not necessarily, Paul. The key to learning English fast is not just studying hard, but studying smart. Many learners spend hours memorizing things, but they don't see much improvement.
So what does smart practice mean?
Smart practice means focusing on useful and practical activities instead of just memorizing rules. For example, instead of only reading grammar, learners should speak daily, listen actively, use words in real sentences.
So learning should be active, not passive.
Exactly. Passive learning, like only reading or watching, is not enough. Learners must engage with the language.
That makes learning more effective. Yes, and another important point is to focus on quality over quantity. Even 30 minutes of focused practice is better than 2 hours of distracted learning. That's a very important tip.
Also, learners should practice what they actually need. For example, if they want to improve speaking, they should spend more time speaking.
So practice should match their goal.
Exactly. Another smart method is to combine skills. For example, listen to a sentence and repeat it. This improves listening and speaking together.
That saves time and increases efficiency.
Yes, and learners should avoid overthinking. Keep things simple and focus on regular practice.
So smart learning helps achieve faster results.
Absolutely. When you practice smartly, you learn faster without feeling tired or overwhelmed.
Lena, Consistency is always mentioned in learning, but many learners struggle to stay consistent. What can they do?
The best way to stay consistent is to follow a simple daily routine. A routine makes learning a habit, and habits are very powerful.
So having a plan is important.
Yes, without a plan, learners often feel confused and skip practice. A simple routine gives direction and keeps them on track.
Can you give an example of a beginner-friendly routine?
Of course, a beginner can follow something like this. 10 minutes learning new vocabulary. 15 minutes listening practice. 10 minutes speaking practice.
That seems easy to follow.
Yes, it's simple and not time-consuming. Even 30-40 minutes daily can bring great results if done consistently.
So they don't need long hours.
Exactly. The key is to practice every day, even if it's for a short time.
What if someone misses a day?
That's okay. They should not feel discouraged. They can continue the next day. The goal is to build a long-term habit.
That's a positive approach.
Yes, and learners should try to practice at the same time every day. This makes it easier to build a routine.
So routine creates discipline.
Absolutely. And when practice becomes a daily habit, improvement happens naturally and quickly.
Lena, many learners start learning English with excitement, but after some time, they lose motivation. How can they stay motivated?
That's a very common problem, Paul. Staying motivated is very important if you want to learn English fast. One way to stay motivated is to set small and achievable goals.
What kind of goals?
For example, learn 10 new words today. Speak for 10 minutes. Watch one English video. Small goals are easier to achieve and give a sense of progress.
That helps build confidence.
Yes, and learners should also track their progress. When they see improvement, they feel more motivated.
That's very encouraging.
Another important tip is to enjoy the learning process. Learning should not feel like a burden. Choose topics you like and make it fun.
That keeps interest alive.
Exactly. Also, learners should remind themselves why they started learning English. Having a clear reason gives strong motivation.
That's powerful.
Yes, and most importantly, they should never give up. Progress may feel slow sometimes, but with daily effort, improvement is guaranteed.
So patience is also important.
Absolutely. Learning a language is a journey. Stay consistent, stay positive, and keep practicing.
That's very inspiring.
Yes, anyone can learn English fast if they follow the right methods and stay consistent.
Thank you so much, Lena, for these valuable tips.
You're welcome. I hope this helps all beginners.
Thank you everyone for watching.